Look at these two swatches of red lipstick. To the naked eye, they look practically identical. Yet one rings up at $5, while the other costs $45. It begs the question of what exactly you are paying for. Plenty of us have handed over $50 for a high-end tube, hoping for an instant surge of confidence, only to put it on and realize we look washed out or vaguely clownish. When that happens, the immediate reaction is to blame the brand, assume we didn't spend enough money, or decide our face simply isn't built for a bold lip. The actual breakdown is biological, a failure to properly diagnose the chemical color base required by your specific skin. Red lipstick has to be treated as a precision diagnostic instrument. To understand how to calibrate it to your own face, we first need to look at why we put so much psychological weight on this one specific cosmetic. The true power of a red lip is rooted in a century-old history of accessible political defiance, beginning in 1912. That year, 20,000 women marched down Fifth Avenue in New York City, demanding the right to vote. Along the route, a businesswoman named Elizabeth Arden handed out bright red lipsticks to the marchers. They applied the color right there on the street to create a unified, highly visible symbol of rebellion. By adopting this single striking color en masse, these women successfully weaponized the cosmetic. It became a cheap, accessible badge of solidarity, instantly shedding its old associations with questionable morals and elite gatekeeping. 3 decades later, as World War II broke out, this domestic protest tool evolved into a global instrument of psychological warfare. The Nazi regime heavily promoted a scrubbed, bare-faced ideal of womanhood. To wear red lipstick was to present a direct, visual contradiction to fascist ideology. Allied women and the U.S. military actively leaned into this. The military even commissioned specific shades, like Montezuma red, to precisely match the red piping on the uniforms of female Marines. The state-sanctioned act of wearing red lipstick transformed the cosmetic into a required piece of equipment, a tool for psychological combat. But the ultimate stress test for this cosmetic weapon came a few years prior, during the total economic collapse of the Great Depression. Amidst mass unemployment, industrial and luxury sales completely plummeted. Yet cosmetic sales actually increased by 25%. This graph illustrates the anomaly. The steep downward line tracks the general economy in the 1930s, while the sharp upward trend represents cosmetic sales. Economists call this the lipstick effect, a verified phenomenon where consumers facing financial crises actively shift their spending to smaller, accessible luxury items. This exact economic pattern repeated itself following the 2001 terrorist attacks, prompting the creation of an official leading lipstick index. The true power of red lipstick lies in its psychological accessibility. During periods of chaos and uncertainty, it remains the most economically efficient way to purchase a feeling of dignity and control. To actually wield this historical power effectively on your own face, you first have to accurately diagnose your biological canvas. This diagram illustrates the critical variable in lipstick formulation. A true red physically splits into 2 categories, a blue-tinted red and an orange-tinted red. Applying a base that contradicts your skin's undertones makes the colors violently clash, creating that dreaded clownish or washed-out look. To figure out your undertone, you can use a diagnostic tool known as the vein test. Just look at your inner wrist in natural sunlight. If those veins appear slightly green, your skin has warm undertones. You need to prescribe yourself an orange-based red. If the veins look blue or purple, your skin pulls cool. That means you require a blue-based red to harmonize with your complexion. Getting this binary math right is the only thing standing between a failed aesthetic and a powerful statement. Once you lock in your equation, the actual price tag on the product becomes completely irrelevant. Here is that color math working flawlessly. An orange-red prescription perfectly complements the golden hues of this warm olive skin. And here is the exact same mathematical success on a different canvas. A blue-red prescription seamlessly flatters the undertones of deep, cool skin. Drugstore brands like Revlon, NYX, and e.l.f. utilize the exact same chemical color bases and optical theory as their $45 luxury counterparts. Spending excessive amounts of cash on a high-end brand does not grant you a bypass around your biological requirements. A poorly diagnosed shade from a luxury house will still fail the undertone test. A perfectly diagnosed $5 red lipstick is a modern continuation of a 100-year-old tradition, an act of accessible, defiant power.